Hello traders, 'tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, June the 22nd, the year's 2026. Let's talk trading, weekly open and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And let's make sure we have risk management in place so we don't lose more than we are willing to lose while we are trading. So let's jump in and take a quick look at the weekly. The pound's up 59 pips from the open, 32 off the high and 61 off the low. And we look and see we've had one pair that did not fill the weekly open gap, and that's the dollar Swiss. I see the yen is up, getting near 162. I'm going to be looking for another short opportunity, that's for sure. We zoom out to the month real quick. We can see we're 208 pips below the monthly open on the pound, 243 off the high, 77 off the low, and we are below the previous month's low. For the daily, we're putting in the opening range for the week. We are below the opening range for the month and the opening range for the year by over 166 of the month and 193 for the year. We're way below that range. Speaking of year, we're 216 pips below the yearly open. We are 612 off the yearly high and 82 off the yearly low. Inside bar traders, we're below the inside bar ranges for the month, week, and day. And we got a handful of trades. Actually, no, we got maybe almost two handful of inside bar trades on the upper time frames. Looking at the range, we have 93 pips on the day, 58 above the daily open, 32 off the high, 61 off the low. Buy zone traders were rewarded twice, looks like once in the Asian session and once in the London session. And I was kind of kicking myself yesterday. I was coding some indicators and I saw where price was. I said I should just go long, but at the time there was something like a 14 pip spread, something crazy. But then spread narrowed. I still had a chance. I didn't take it, and that gap did fill. So yeah. But hey, there was always another trade. And as you can see here, we're coming out of the red rat zone, so the rats have been feasting. At least the red rats have a couple of times here. Green rats, this probably, I don't think, see, was there enough range here for a green rat trade? Right on the edge, 50 pips. I think I usually like to see 60 pips, but that would have been a nice trade. Pivot trading plan, price near pivot was a short. Bambino flex indicator was indicate looking for longs, but that pivot trade would have paid off for a few pips there. Then it turned around. Price near R1 bias is short. That's at 32.56. That trade would have been worth 16 pips if you just took it. Okay, monthly. Taking out the monthly pivot. We've missed the weekly pivot by 10 pips so far this week, but we still got 4 days left and the rest of today. See what happens. We did take out that daily pivot. In and out of the lower wick zone and in and out of the upper wick zone. Once again, price doesn't like staying in the wick zone. Smart range right now, we're at 73 pips, doesn't move the needle. We have not broken out of the previous week's high or low. Previous week was an outside bar. Simple price action charts here. You notice they've got trend lines now in the indicator too. This has been one heck of a scalping tool. I've been using it for about a week or so now, and I'm really liking it. You can see here, price crossed below that trend line, just plummeted. So who knows, we might get to see it go the other way. You can see here, indicator 2 or the EMA 5, you've got a lot of magenta, so closes below. On the H1, now we've got a close that's still above the higher low. So that might be a short opportunity coming up. This is something that I've been working on here. Oh, why is that on M30? Put that back on M1. I came up with a moving average dashboard for indicator 2. I thought there were some patterns here. I used the EA. In fact, here we go. There's a break above the trend line here. So taking that trade, you'd already be up. And you notice this called a short at 1742. Problem is that I just loaded it, and it doesn't go all the way back. So it determined it from just when I loaded the indicator. It looked, and you can see here that trend line cross would have been really nice. There was a return bar here. Price almost hit it. There's a return bar right there. So it's just simple. You got to close above the trend line. You go long, you get a close below the trend line, you go short, and then you stay in the trade until it actually comes back through that trend line. Of course, there might be other reasons to get out before that happens. Price action, you look left, you see a sticking point. But it's one of those discipline things where you have to trust the system, trust the method. And the thing is, it's tough in the beginning because all your instincts are saying get out, get out, get out. But then if you learn to trust it, you'll see that it usually pays off in the end. Does it happen every time? Not necessarily. So you see it did not close below that trend line. But for scalpers, if you make a quick 4, 5, 6 pips and you get out, that's fine. If you want to try and make more, and there you go, right there. So, had you taken those quick pips right now, you might be kicking yourself unless you re-entered because it definitely opened above that trend line. So there was another opportunity to take some quick pips. Okay, there's the that's indicator 2 here. So you look at the midpoint of the big bar, or maybe it'll come back to the open. Plus, we're in the launch pad. Even more reasons for me to go long, at least. And this is all just based on price, just the close on the EMA 5. That's it. But you see here, you see 5 in a row. But then when you can look at the last 10 and see if it's going back and forth, what exactly is it doing? So you can see here, we had been short on the last 3 M5s, but now it flipped over. that sometimes is an indicator to stay in the trade. So you can, if you use something like this, and that is the MA dashboard multi-time frame. You might notice over here, I've been kidding around, so I had the EA do it. And right now this is on the current candle, but you can take this EA and tell it not to trade against a certain candle color. So I guess I don't trade against the M30 candle color. Right now M30 is red, so I cannot buy. I can only sell. You can hit this. You see it's even grayed out. But I can always override it. But it's one of those things where it's I call it a training wheels or a training tool, where when you're no longer overriding it, or you're no longer being able to do it, you take that off, and then it's just like, hey, you're gonna have to stick to it. Notice we're still above that trend line. And in the big scheme of things, giving back a couple of pips isn't a big deal. But as scalpers, sometimes that's all we take is 2 pips. It's so. But if you really want to try and make more money, just try riding the line. And there we go. This is a place to look to get out. Oh, I want to go short so bad right now. And down here, this is just order flow and previous middle. I don't even have anything else on the chart. This is just almost another confirmation that flipped from selling to buying right here. And you can see here jumping in. And sometimes I'll get in up to 3 trades as add-ins. Usually I don't want to add in more than that because it's already been moving in my direction. On the other hand, if it's going against me, notice now the how this is flipping back and forth as the M30 candle color is changing. And we're back in the upper rat zone here, high minus close 18. And I have been slightly busy. Well, on the big screen, this works okay. On the laptop, I'm going to have to move this over. Daily, weekly, monthly levels. Let's see. If I move this to 70, it's still going to stay on the chart. Just barely. Another indicator that I was working on. So let's try 65, 60, 55, 50, 45. Does that work? And it's kind of close together. But for purposes of this video, I'll just leave it like that. So what we have is we've got the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly candle. It shows where the highs are. And notice here I've got some cool buttons. This is turn off the open, high, medium, low, close. And you got the pivots. You can put the fib retrace. And you can also turn off the different candles. You can have candles without all those, so you can just see what is price doing. So anyway, fastest 15 minutes in trading just about over. I hope everybody's having a profitable month so far, and year. And always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.